How do you do? I'm very happy to have this personal visit with you. Won't you be seated, please? And now, may I request that you forget all your problems and just relax while I bring you the master key with which you may unlock the door to any opportunity that your mind can conceive. Right here at the beginning of our visit, I'm going to make you a promise. If you will decide definitely what you want most during your entire lifetime and write it down on paper so that I can read it, I will give you the master key with which you may open the door to the attainment of your desires, whatever they may be. The exact moment when I will deliver this master key to you will depend entirely upon when you are ready to receive it. This is the first of 13 messages that I will deliver to you. Now, in each message, I will describe the master key in terms that you will understand if you are ready to understand. And now I shall give you the first cue as to the nature of the great master key which has been responsible for all the great successes in every calling, in every part of the world. Please listen carefully to what I have to say, because you may discover the secret of the master key in this first visit. You may get your first cue as to the nature of the great master key when I tell you that psychologists have discovered a natural law which is the very foundation of all personal successes. And I can describe it to you in one short sentence so you can understand it. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve. Isn't that a profound statement? You will notice that it says nothing about the need for education, but simply that whatever your mind can conceive and believe, your mind can achieve. Now, if you want evidence that the mind can achieve whatever the mind can conceive without the benefit of formal education, you only have to remember that Thomas A. Edison conceived the idea of becoming an inventor and lived to become the world's greatest scientist in the field of invention, with only 3 months of common school education. When I first heard Andrew Carnegie describe this natural law, which makes it possible for you and I and everyone else to write his own price tag in life and attain it, I became so enthused over it that I began to search for the power back of it. And my curiosity led me finally to the discovery of the master key, which I shall reveal to you if you are ready to receive it. My search led me to the study of the spiritual forces with which all of us are blessed. And it was in this field that I came upon a clue which has enabled me to help millions of people to find their earthly destinies. I want to describe my discovery in the simplest terms possible, because it will reveal to you why it is true that whatever the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve, regardless of how many times you may have failed in the past or how lofty your aims and hopes may be. I caught my first fleeting glimpse of the profound law which provides the means by which we may choose our own purpose in life and attain it while I was being coached by Andrew Carnegie during the organization of the Science of Success philosophy. I had just finished telling Mr. Carnegie that I feared he had chosen the wrong person to give the world the first practical philosophy of personal success because of my youth, my lack of education, and my lack of finances. Well, at this point, Mr. Carnegie delivered a lecture that I shall never forget because it changed my entire life and paved the way for my helping to change the lives of millions of people, some of them not yet born. Let me call your attention to a great power which is under your control, said Mr. Carnegie. A power which is greater than poverty, greater than the lack of education, greater than all of your fears and superstitions combined. It is the power to take possession of your own mind and direct it to whatever ends you may desire. This profound power, Mr. Carnegie continued, is the gift of the Creator, and it must have been considered the greatest of all of his gifts to man, because it is the only thing over which man has the complete and unchallengeable right of control and direction. When you speak of your poverty and lack of education, Mr. Carnegie explained, you are simply directing your mind power to attract these undesirable circumstances, because it is True that whatever your mind feeds upon, your mind attracts to you. Now you see why it is important that you recognize that all success begins with definiteness of purpose, with a clear picture in your mind of precisely what you want from life. Then Mr. Carnegie continued his speech with a description of a great universal truth which made such an impact upon my mind that I began then and there to give myself a new outlook on life and set up for myself a goal so far above my previous achievements that it shocked my friends and relatives when they heard about it. Everyone, said Mr. Carnegie, comes to the earth plane blessed with the privilege of controlling his mind power and directing it to whatever ends he may choose. But, he continued, everyone brings over with him at birth the equivalent of two sealed envelopes, one of which is clearly labeled, the riches you may enjoy if you take possession of your own mind and direct it to ends of your own choice. And the other is labeled, the penalties you must pay if you neglect to take possession of your mind and direct it. And now let me reveal to you, said Mr. Carnegie, the contents of those two sealed envelopes. In the one labeled riches is this list of blessings. 1, sound health. 2, peace of mind. 3, a labor of love of your own choice. 4, freedom from fear and worry. 5, a positive mental attitude. 6, material riches of your own choice and quantity. In the sealed envelope labeled penalties, Mr. Carnegie continued, is this list of the prices one must pay for neglecting to take possession of his own mind. 1, ill health. 2, fear and worry. 3, indecision and doubt. 4, frustration and discouragement throughout life. 5, poverty and want. 6, and a whole flock of evils consisting of envy, greed, jealousy, anger, hatred, and superstition. Now, my mission in life is to help you and everyone who needs my help to open up and use the contents of the sealed envelope labeled riches. And the starting point from which you must take off if you wish to write your own ticket from here on out for the remainder of your life, I will describe for you in these simple instructions. 1, procure a neat pocket-sized notebook, or something on the order of this one here, loose leaf affair. And on page 1, write down a clear description of your major desire in life, the one circumstance or position or thing which you will be willing to accept as your idea of success. And remember before you begin writing that your only limitations are those which you set up in your own mind or permit others to set up for you. And 2, on page 2 of your notebook, write down a clear statement of precisely what you intend to give in return for that which you desire from life. And then start in right where you stand now to begin giving. And 3, memorize both of your statements, what you desire and what you intend to give in return for it, and repeat them at least 12 times daily. And always end your statements with this expression of gratitude for the blessings with which you were gifted at birth. I ask not, O divine providence, for more riches, but more wisdom with which to accept and use wisely the riches I received at birth in the form of the power to control and direct my mind to whatever ends I desire. If you are not too successful or self-satisfied to accept and express this profound prayer, if you accept it and express it in the same spirit of humble sincerity in which I pass it on to you, a new and a better world will reveal itself to you. A world in which you will see reflected the circumstances and the things which you yourself have created. The truth is, focusing on others creates distraction. Focusing on yourself creates direction. When you stop chasing their timeline and start showing up for your own, everything changes. Success doesn't come from comparison. It comes from clarity, discipline, and doing the work that actually moves you forward. In the next few moments, I'll share the inner shifts that separate those who obsess over others from those who focus entirely on themselves. You'll learn how to stop comparing, how to silence the noise of outside opinions, and how to train your mind to stay centered on your own path, even when distractions surround you. Imagine for a moment that you are standing at the very center of your own universe. Everything that happens around you, everything you wish to achieve, every vision you hold dear, begins with you. This is not a metaphor. This is a truth, perhaps the most powerful truth you will ever come to understand. Your life will unfold exactly as you command it to, if only you first command it within your own mind. I spent a lifetime studying the minds of the world's most successful men, industrialists, inventors, presidents, and philosophers. Each one of them, without exception, began their journey to greatness, not with money, not with influence, but with a definite purpose and a deep, unwavering belief in their own potential. They each made a decision to become the masters of their own fate. Andrew Carnegie, a man who was born into poverty in a one-room cottage in Scotland. When he came to America, he had no wealth, no family connections, and no formal education. What he did have was a burning vision, a desire so strong that it refused to be extinguished by circumstance. Mr. Carnegie understood what so many fail to realize, that the greatest limitations in life are not those imposed by the outside world, but those we accept within our own thinking. Mr. Carnegie did not waste his time measuring himself against others. He did not envy the fortunes of those who came before him, nor did he shrink in the presence of those who seemed more educated, more experienced, or more favored by fortune. Instead, he went inward. He studied himself. He mastered his thought. He focused every ounce of his mental and physical energy toward the vision he had chosen. He planted his feet firmly at the center of his universe and bent the world to meet his will. This is the lesson I urge you to embrace. Stop looking sideways. Your neighbor's success has nothing to do with your potential. The promotions of your colleagues, the achievements of your friends, the accolades earned by others, these are not your compass. You are not here to live someone else's dream. You are here to awaken your own. Every time you compare your progress to someone else's, you give away a piece of your power. You shift the center of your universe to a place outside yourself. And once your focus leaves your inner world, your thoughts become scattered, your actions become reactive, and your results become inconsistent. Do you see how dangerous this is? You must reclaim the throne of your own mind. You must believe with absolute conviction that your ideas, your values, and your ambitions matter. They matter more than opinions. They matter more than current results. They matter more than any fear or doubt you carry. When you begin to operate from this center, life stops happening to you. It begins happening for you. Your thoughts gain clarity. Your vision sharpens. Your actions align with purpose. And the universe, strange and mysterious as it may be, begins to respond. All great change begins within. All success is first created in visible realm of thought. Before the skyscraper rises, the blueprint is drafted. Before the fortune is made, the vision is formed. Before the man becomes powerful, he becomes disciplined in thought. So I ask you, what is the vision you hold within? What idea burns so brightly in your heart that you cannot let it go? Do not ask whether it is possible. Ask whether it is yours. Because if it is truly yours, then you must stop waiting for permission. You must stop looking for signs. You must stop comparing, hesitating, doubting. Seize the reins of your inner world. Declare yourself the master of your fate. You are not here to imitate. You are here to create. Remember this, the greatest souls in history rose not because they followed others, but because they followed their own inner voice. You have that voice too. It has never left you. It is waiting for you to listen. Stand tall, look within, and start building the life that only you can build. You are the center of your universe. Never forget it. The importance of self-belief. Throughout history, those who soared the highest, who left indelible marks on the world, all shared one extraordinary quality, an unwavering belief in themselves. This belief was not arrogance. It was not ego. It was an inner conviction, a certainty that their vision was worth pursuing, no matter the cost, no matter the resistance, no matter the failure. Thomas Edison was a man who failed more than 10,000 times before he succeeded in creating the electric light bulb. Most men would have surrendered. Most would have said enough. They would have pointed to their efforts, their exhaustion, their years of toil, and concluded that success simply wasn't meant for them. But not Mr. Edison. Mr. Edison possessed something that all great achievers must cultivate, a belief in the worthiness of his own idea. Mr. Edison did not measure himself by those who gave up. He did not ask, "Why is this taking me so long when others seem to find their success more quickly?" He understood what few ever come to understand, that failure is not a verdict, it is feedback. Every failed attempt was a step closer to mastery, a piece of the puzzle, a refinement of the dream. This is the spirit you must carry forward. You, too, have within you a seed of greatness. It lies quietly, waiting for you to believe in it, waiting for you to act on it, waiting for you to nurture it with persistence, discipline, and courage. But above all, it waits for your belief. Belief is not a luxury. It is not a trait reserved for the chosen few. It is the foundation upon which all progress is built. Without it, ideas remain wishes. Without it, goals remain fantasies. Without it, your greatest talents go unused, and your brightest dreams fade into regret. Understand this: doubts and fears are not signs of weakness. They are part of the journey. Every man or woman who has ever accomplished anything of substance has walked through the valley of uncertainty, but they kept moving. They did not give fear the driver's seat. They refused to hand over control to self-doubt. Instead, they fortified their belief like a fortress. They repeated their vision until it became a truth. They stood by their dream when no one else did. So I ask you, what do you believe about yourself? Do you believe you are capable of more? Do you believe that your dreams are valid, that your efforts are meaningful, that your ideas are worth pursuing? If you do, then act accordingly. Speak as one who believes. Walk as one who believes. Plan, think, move, build as one who knows that success is already yours, if only you refuse to let go. You must not wait for the world to validate you. That is a fool's game. Validation begins within. The moment you decide to believe in your own power, your own path, your own possibility, you begin to pull success toward you. The people, the opportunities, the ideas, the resources, they begin to appear, not by chance, but by cause. This is the secret the great ones knew. Belief is not a feeling. It is a choice. It is a decision made daily, hourly, moment by moment. And the more you choose to believe, the stronger you become, the more unstoppable you become, the more you discover just how vast your potential truly is. Believe in yourself. Not someday, not when you feel ready, but now. For everything you seek waits on the other side of belief. Open that door, step through it, and let the world see the power of a mind that believes. Goal setting and clear vision. Imagine sailing a vast ocean without a compass. The winds shift, the waves carry you in uncertain directions, and every movement becomes a reaction to the circumstances around you. There is no control, no direction, only drift. This is precisely how many live their lives, aimlessly without clear goals, reacting to life instead of commanding it. But the great achievers, the builders of empires and legacies, knew better. They lived by one rule: define the destination before the journey begins. Walt Disney is a name known across every continent, a symbol of creativity and wonder. But few remember how many times he was rejected before success found him. He was fired from a newspaper for lacking imagination. He faced bankruptcy, betrayal, and countless closed doors. Yet through it all, Mr. Disney clung to one thing with relentless devotion: a clear vision. He knew what he wanted to build. He saw it in his mind's eye long before the world believed it was possible, and that clarity became his compass. This is the lesson. Clarity breeds power. When you know precisely what you want, you summon the full force of your mind toward that aim. You begin to filter the world differently. Opportunities are recognized. Distractions are eliminated and energy flows where attention goes. A vague dream yields vague results, but a definite goal committed to paper, reviewed daily and pursued with purpose, that becomes a force of nature. It becomes a living contract between you and your future. So ask yourself, where are you going? This is not a question to be answered casually. It demands deep thought. It demands silence and introspection. You must become clear about what you truly want, not what others expect, not what fear allows, but what you desire at the core of your being. Is it financial independence? Is it mastery in your craft? Is it freedom, contribution, legacy? Whatever it is, write it down. Do not let it remain a thought. Thoughts are fleeting. Goals, when written, become anchors. They remind you who you are and where you're headed. Review them daily. Speak them aloud. Let them burn so brightly in your mind that no distraction can dim their light. Let every decision serve your goal. If a choice brings you closer, pursue it. If it takes you further away, reject it. With clarity comes focus. With focus comes momentum. And with momentum you begin to move mountains. Do not be afraid of the size of your goal. Be afraid of living without one. The greatest tragedy is not in aiming high and missing. It is in aiming low and hitting. Successful people are not lucky. They are intentional. They move with purpose. They do not scatter their efforts in 100 directions. They move like a river, strong, consistent, unstoppable, because they have direction. You must be the same. Define your goals. Make them specific. Make them measurable. Make them so clear that even in moments of doubt you can read them and remember your path. Let them be your guiding stars in the darkest night. Let them bring order to your chaos, discipline to your actions, and certainty to your choices. A man without a goal is like a ship without a sail, vulnerable to every gust of wind, every passing storm. But a man with a goal, he becomes a creator, a builder, a conqueror of his own destiny. Clarity is not a gift. It is a discipline. Practice it. Strengthen it. Live by it. And soon you will look back, not with regret, but with pride, because you knew where you were going and you got there. Resilience and the power of persistence. When the name Abraham Lincoln is mentioned, the mind immediately pictures one of the most revered leaders in history. But long before he held the highest office in the land, Mr. Lincoln walked a path marked by failure, rejection, and sorrow. He lost multiple elections, failed in business, and endured deep personal tragedies. By any conventional measure, he should have been broken. He had every reason to quit, and yet he did not. Why? Because Mr. Lincoln understood something that most overlook. Failure does not define you. Persistence does. He refused to let setbacks dictate his story. He saw each defeat not as a dead end, but as a bend in the road. He treated each disappointment as an invitation to grow, to reflect, to come back stronger. That relentless forward motion, that unyielding spirit, is what transformed him from a man battered by life into a leader remembered for eternity. This same principle holds true for you. The road to greatness is not a straight line. It is not paved with comfort or ease. It is rugged, unpredictable, and often unforgiving. But within its challenges lies a secret. Those very challenges are the proving grounds of your future self. When obstacles rise, as they inevitably will, you have two choices: retreat or rise. You can let the storm crush your will, or you can let it carve your character. Those who achieve greatness are not those who avoid hardship. They are the ones who persist through it. Setbacks are not signs that you are on the wrong path. They are signs that you are on a path worth traveling. Every struggle teaches. Every failure sharpens. Every fall builds resilience. Resilience is not something you are born with. It is something you build. It is forged in the fires of adversity, in the moments when everything within you wants to quit. But something greater inside whispers, keep going. And when you keep going, when you press forward in the face of fear, doubt, and pain, something remarkable happens. You grow stronger, not just in action, but in belief. You start to realize that you are capable of more than you ever imagined. You start to see that pain is temporary, but progress is permanent. Think of every great figure in history: Lincoln, Edison, Mandela, Roosevelt. Each one walked through fire. Each one was told they would not succeed. Each one failed repeatedly, but they persisted. And because they persisted, they became more than just successful. They became symbols of what is possible when a human being refuses to quit. So now turn inward and ask, what will define you? Will it be the setbacks, the moments when things didn't go your way, the failures that momentarily shook your confidence, or will it be your response to those moments? Will you rise like Mr. Lincoln and declare with your actions that no storm can destroy the spirit of someone who refuses to be broken? Do not wish for an easy life. Wish for the strength to endure a meaningful one, a life of purpose, of impact, of significance. That kind of life demands your resilience. It demands your persistence, and it rewards your unwavering faith in the journey. Keep pressing forward, one step at a time, one challenge at a time. Let the world throw what it may. You are not here to fold. You are here to build, to learn, to rise. And in the end, when you look back, you will not regret the struggle. You will treasure it, because it was through the struggle that you discovered your strength. Resilience turns ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. Let it turn you into the legend you were born to become, avoiding the comparison trap. The moment you begin to compare yourself to others, you hand over your power. You diminish your unique value. You blur the vision that is only yours to see. What was once a clear path becomes fogged with doubt, distraction, and dissatisfaction. Understand this truth. Your journey is distinctly yours. No one else has lived your life, fought your battles, or dreamed your dreams, and therefore no one else's progress should define your worth. Ray Kroc, the man behind the explosive global growth of McDonald's, understood this principle well. When he discovered a small hamburger stand run by the McDonald brothers, he didn't waste time comparing himself to other business owners or wondering whether he could match their success. He wasn't interested in what others were building. He was focused entirely on what he could build. He saw a vision where others saw a simple burger joint, and he chased that vision with tunnel-like focus. Mr. Kroc turned that humble stand into an empire not by looking sideways but by looking forward. His eyes were fixed on his mission, not on the metrics of those around him, and that is why he succeeded. Comparison is a thief. It robs you of joy. It clouds your mind. It poisons your progress. When you measure yourself against others, you are playing a rigged game. You only see their highlights, not their hardships. You see the results, not the road. And in doing so, you forget that your own path is unfolding in perfect time. When you obsess over someone else's timeline, you abandon your own. You move out of alignment. You begin to chase goals that were never yours. And eventually you find yourself exhausted, frustrated, and lost. Not because you failed, but because you stopped being you. Your purpose in life is not to match or surpass others. Your purpose is to become the best, boldest, and truest version of yourself. That version does not live in comparison. It lives in creation. It grows not by watching others, but by looking inward. Measure your progress only against who you were yesterday. That is the only comparison that matters. Did you grow? Did you learn? Did you move closer to your purpose? If so, then you are succeeding, even if the world hasn't noticed yet. Do not let envy distract you from excellence. Do not let someone else's chapter 20 make you doubt your chapter 2. The journey is long, and greatness often begins quietly, in the shadows where no one is clapping. But if you keep building, keep refining, and keep believing, the results will come. Be patient with your progress. Be ruthless with your focus. And most importantly, be loyal to your own path. Success is not found in winning someone else's race. It is found in finishing your own with integrity, passion, and purpose. So, reclaim your power. Bring your focus back to center. Silence the noise. Close the comparison trap. Every time you feel the urge to compare, pause, breathe. Remind yourself, I am not here to compete. I am here to create. Let your journey unfold as it was meant to. Let your growth be your guide. And let your vision, not the world's, define your success. Because the truth is this: when you finally stop comparing, you finally start living. And in that space, in that freedom, your true greatness will rise. Continuous learning and adaptability. Life does not reward the rigid. It rewards those who remain curious, flexible, and committed to continuous growth. The world is in constant motion, and those who rise to greatness are not those who resist change, but those who evolve with it. Henry Ford, born into modest means, he was not handed success. He earned it through an insatiable desire to learn, to improve, and to innovate. Mr. Ford was not content to accept the world as it was. He saw what could be and then learned what was necessary to build it. His success was not just the result of one brilliant idea. It was the result of relentless curiosity and an unwavering belief in growth. Mr. Ford questioned, tested, studied, and adapted. And through that mindset, he transformed not just his own life, but the world's understanding of industry, transportation, and progress. This is the path available to you. The moment you believe that you have learned enough, grown enough, or achieved enough is the moment you begin to decline. Because success is not static, it is dynamic. It evolves with the world, and so must you. Never stop expanding your horizons. Read books, ask questions, seek mentors, challenge your own beliefs, push past the boundaries of what you know, and step into the unknown with confidence. For it is in the unfamiliar that you grow. It is in the uncomfortable that you become more. Adaptability is not weakness, it is wisdom. To adjust does not mean to surrender your values. It means to strengthen your strategy. The most powerful people are those who can pivot without losing their purpose. They flow like water, able to move around any obstacle while still reaching their destination. Life will not always go according to plan. Markets shift, people change, opportunities come and go, and those who cling to the old way, the familiar path, or the outdated skill will be left behind, but not you. Because you understand that learning is not a phase, it is a way of life. It is the very fuel of your evolution. Each new insight, each lesson learned, each skill acquired adds to your arsenal. It equips you to better navigate the twists and turns of your journey. The key is to approach every day as a student, to look at every situation, even failure, as a classroom. Ask, what is this moment here to teach me? What strength can I gain? What adjustment must I make? You must also protect yourself from the greatest enemy of growth, comfort. Comfort whispers that you are fine where you are. It tempts you to stop stretching, stop striving, stop seeking. But comfort is not your friend. It is the silent killer of potential. You are meant for more. You are meant to learn, to change, to become. And every time you choose growth over ease, you become more capable, more resilient, more powerful. So embrace the journey, take the class, read the book, ask the hard questions, make the necessary changes, let go of what no longer serves you, and make space for what will elevate you. Your future belongs not to those who know it all, but to those who are willing to learn it all. Adapt, grow, rise. Because in learning, you lead. In adapting, you master your destiny, and the world will belong to those who never stop becoming more. Harnessing passion and purpose. Passion is the heartbeat of lasting success. It is the invisible fire that fuels your journey, the energy source that makes the impossible feel possible. Without passion, every task becomes a burden. Every obstacle feels immovable. But when passion lives at the center of your work, it changes everything. Helen Keller is one of the greatest testaments to this truth. Blind and deaf before she was 2 years old, her world was one of silence and darkness, and yet she did not accept defeat. She did not surrender to limitation. Guided by a deep, burning desire to connect, to learn, to contribute, she became a symbol of resilience, courage, and purpose. Miss Keller did not just overcome, she thrived. She became an author, a speaker, and an inspiration to millions across the globe. And the key to her triumph was passion for knowledge, passion for communication, passion for uplifting others despite the odds. This same force exists within you. You may not face the same challenges, but you face your own. And to move beyond them, to rise, to lead, to build a life of fulfillment, you must find what lights a fire in your soul. Ask yourself what makes you come alive. What work could you do for hours without looking at the clock? What mission or idea fills you with excitement, meaning, and purpose? That is your passion. That is your calling. And when you discover it, your world transforms. Tasks that once felt dull now carry meaning. Long hours no longer exhaust you. They energize you. Obstacles become puzzles, not problems. You stop chasing external motivation because your purpose pulls you forward from within. You become magnetic, focused, alive, Passion turns ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. It grants you the strength to persist when others quit. It gives you the courage to take risks, to stand alone, to chase what others call unrealistic. But understand this, passion is not something you stumble upon by accident. It must be discovered and chosen. Sometimes it is loud and clear, other times it whispers. You may have to try new things, fail at a few, and dig deep to uncover it. But once you do, never let it go. Dedicate yourself to it, cultivate it. Build your life around it. And when the world tries to distract you or pull you in different directions, come back to your passion. Let it be your compass. This is your fuel. Let passion guide your decisions. Let it shape your career, your relationships, your contributions. Let it infuse your work with meaning and your days with joy. The truth is, the most successful people are not the ones with the most resources. They are the ones with the most fire inside. That fire allows them to endure what others avoid. It pushes them forward when logic says stop. It makes them unstoppable. So don't settle. Don't numb yourself with comfort or distraction. Find your passion and give it everything you have. Because with passion, no dream is out of reach. With passion, you do not just survive, you thrive. You inspire, you lead, you live fully. Let your purpose be the magnetic force pulling you forward. Let your heart beat strong with the rhythm of something meaningful. And as you pursue your calling with passion, the world will take notice, not because you sought its approval, but because your light will be impossible to ignore. The power of positive thinking. Your mind is the most powerful tool you possess. It is not merely a container of thoughts, but a creator of reality. What you think consistently, you become. What you focus on, you attract. The world you experience outside is a direct reflection of the world you construct inside. Norman Vincent Peale understood this truth with unwavering clarity. Through his work, he championed the concept of positive thinking, not as wishful optimism, but as a practical, powerful force for transformation. His teachings helped countless people escape the trap of self-doubt, fear, and failure by simply shifting their inner dialogue from defeat to possibility. Positive thinking is not a soft philosophy. It is a discipline, a strength, a way of moving through the world with intention and resilience. When you cultivate a positive mental attitude, you begin to change your reality. Challenges no longer appear as roadblocks. They become stepping stones. Setbacks transform into valuable lessons. Failure becomes feedback, not a final judgment. You no longer ask, why is this happening to me? Instead, you ask, what is this here to teach me? This subtle shift in thinking unleashes immense power. Because thoughts are not passive, they are active. They shape your words, your decisions, your actions, and eventually your results. A mind soaked in negativity will always find a reason to stop. A mind rooted in positivity will always find a way to move forward. When you think positively, you align yourself with solutions. You tap into creativity, resilience, and faith. You attract people who resonate with your energy. You open doors that would have remained shut if your mindset had been steeped in doubt. This is not to say that life becomes easy. Positive thinking is not about denying reality or ignoring pain. It is about facing both with strength and hope. It is the ability to look at darkness and still see the light, to walk through fire and believe that something greater lies on the other side. You must choose your thoughts the way a master craftsman selects his tools. Do not let fear, comparison, or negativity take up residence in your mind. They have no place in the house where your dreams live. Begin each day by setting your mental tone. Speak affirmations. Visualize success. Surround yourself with words, people, and habits that reinforce your belief in what's possible. Guard your mind as you would guard a treasure, because that is exactly what it is. Whenever a negative thought arises, and it will, do not accept it without challenge. Replace it, redirect it, reclaim your focus. Say to yourself, this is not how my story ends. Your inner world creates your outer world. If you want a better future, you must start by building it in your thoughts. You must see yourself as strong, capable, worthy, and abundant, long before the world reflects that back to you. The truth is, the people who change the world are not the ones who had it easy. They are the ones who believed they could, even when no one else did, even when the odds were stacked against them. You have that same power. use it. Your thoughts are brick. With them, you are building something, a life, a legacy, a future. Build with belief, build with purpose, build with positivity, because the future belongs to those who believe in it, and when you believe deeply enough, the world has no choice but to rise and meet your vision. Let your thoughts lead you there, taking decisive action. Knowledge alone does not change your life. Dreams, no matter how vivid or inspiring, do not build success on their own. What separates those who merely imagine from those who achieve is one key trait: decisive action. Throughout history, those who've made a lasting impact were not always the most educated or the most gifted, but they were bold. They acted when others hesitated. They moved forward while others paused. And in that movement, they shaped their destinies. Amelia Earhart is a shining example. She didn't just dream of flight, she took flight. In a time when women were discouraged from pursuing aviation, she stepped boldly into the cockpit. Her actions shattered societal barriers and inspired generations. She didn't wait for the world to approve. She acted, and through her decisive steps, she carved her name into history. You too hold dreams. You possess knowledge, but none of it matters unless you move. The world will not reward you for what you plan to do. It will reward you for what you actually do. Hesitation is the enemy of progress. The longer you wait to act, the more space fear has to grow. Doubt creeps in. Opportunities pass by. Momentum is lost. The antidote? Decisiveness. Decisiveness is not recklessness. It is clarity in motion. It means assessing your path, making a choice, and moving forward even when conditions aren't perfect. Because the truth is, conditions will never be perfect. Waiting for certainty is a silent killer of dreams. Small steps matter. Every action, no matter how minor, is a brick laid in the foundation of your future. One phone call, one decision, one brave conversation. These are the actions that accumulate into success. Make it your habit to act swiftly on your plans. When you feel inspired, move. When you see an opportunity, take it. Let decisiveness be your ally, the force that keeps you from drifting and delays. You are the author of your life, but only action can move the pen. So choose boldly, act swiftly, and trust that even if you stumble, you are still moving forward. Each step gives you feedback. Each choice sharpens your wisdom. This is how growth happens. This is how confidence is built. Remember, the most successful people are not those who never failed. They are the ones who refused to stay stuck. They chose to act. Again and again. You are not here to live cautiously. You are here to live deliberately. Let your life be shaped not by fear, but by forward motion. Because in the end, it is not what you intended to do that defines you. It is what you actually did. Be decisive. Take action. Shape life on your own terms. The journey to personal excellence starts now. Embrace your own path. Set bold goals. Cultivate resilience. Success is not for the lazy. It doesn't belong to the interested. It belongs to the obsessed, the relentless, the focused, those who choose to sacrifice comfort for greatness. Work on yourself like your life depends on it, because it does. Your mindset, your habits, your decisions, those are the architects of your future. So grind in silence, win in silence, focus on your mission, trust the process, work harder than you think you can, and then work harder than that. You are the only one who can do it. You are the only one who must. Now go, and don't look back. If you don't know what you want, the world will decide for you. You will drift, you will wander, and your energy will be scattered in 100 directions, doing 1,000 things that don't matter. But when you decide, truly decide, with absolute clarity what it is you're after, every step you take becomes a weapon. Every breath becomes a choice. Every day becomes war with your weakness and a contract with your future. You cannot build anything great with a vague blueprint. Success demands specificity. It demands you say to yourself, this is what I want. I will have it, and I will not stop until I do. That's the fire. That's the point where life begins to move for you, not before. Once you lock onto that goal, everything else becomes irrelevant. The gossip, the distractions, the outside noise, the opinions of those who haven't done a damn thing with their lives, they all fade into the background. Because purpose is louder than noise. Purpose silences doubt. Purpose kills hesitation. Purpose rewires your brain to recognize nothing but the path forward, even when it's uphill, even when it's dark, even when there's no one clapping for you, no one cheering you on. You don't need applause. You need to move. You need to build. You need to become so focused on your own growth that the world has no choice but to step back and watch. Forget waiting on someone to believe in you. That's weakness. That's dependency. You want power? Start believing in yourself with a level of obsession that makes people uncomfortable. You want to win? You better stop hoping and start working. There is no shortcut, no easy way, no secret hack. There's only effort directed like a laser. The difference between the average and the extraordinary is not talent, it's focus. It's the refusal to be distracted. It's the refusal to break under pressure. It's the refusal to waste time being jealous, envious, or bitter. You think the people who are winning care about what anyone else is doing? No. They're too busy. They're too locked in. They're too determined to waste a single second comparing. You have to learn to be alone with your mission. Get comfortable with the silence, because that's where the real work happens. You build your body in solitude. You build your mind in solitude. You build your empire brick by brick while others party, sleep, or scroll through lives they'll never live. This is the sacrifice. This is the grind. And if you're not willing to pay the price, then don't expect the reward. You want to be great, then act like it. Get up earlier, stay up later. Stop making excuses. Stop blaming your circumstances. Life is hard. Good. That's where growth lives. That's where the real ones rise. While the weak complain, the strong adapt. While the lazy wait for motivation, the hungry show up anyway. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need everything to be right. You need one thing: work. Relentless, focused, obsessive work. Day after day, week after week, year after year. Your results are a reflection of your discipline. Your life is a reflection of your focus. You will not rise to the level of your goals. You will fall to the level of your habits. And your habits are either pushing you forward or pulling you under. So choose. Choose the discomfort of growth over the comfort of stagnation. Choose effort over ease. Choose to build instead of break, to create instead of complain. Because every time you choose focus over distraction, you get closer. Every time you say no to the things that don't matter, you say yes to your destiny. It's not supposed to be easy. It's not supposed to be quick, but it is worth it. Every drop of sweat, every lonely night, every sacrifice that makes others question your sanity, that's the price of excellence. That's the tax for greatness. You pay now so you never have to beg later. You work now so you can live on your terms, not theirs. You suffer now so you can lead, dominate, and rise when others fall. Forget the opinions, forget the doubts, forget the setbacks. If it knocked you down, get up stronger. If they underestimated you, stay silent and let your results scream. If you lost time, take back the hours and double your pace. This is not a game, this is your life. And every minute you waste wishing, comparing, or hesitating is a minute you could have used to become unstoppable. So, go all in. Focus on yourself. Shut out the noise. Work like your future is watching. Because it is. And it's waiting on you to show up. You are all you've got, and that's all you need. Until you accept that no one is coming to save you, you will never rise. Stop waiting for someone to show you the way. Stop leaning on the weak scaffolding of other people's opinions, resources, or permission. You are not a follower. You were not born to depend. You were born to dominate. Everything you've been looking for in others already exists within you. The strength, the discipline, the fire, it's there. But until you decide to stand alone, you'll never know the power you're capable of. Nobody owes you anything. Not support, not praise, not a second chance. And the moment you stop expecting, the moment you stop asking and start doing, everything changes. Relying on others for your success is gambling with your destiny. You are placing your future in hands that don't care, won't show up, and have their own battles to fight. If you want it, you have to take it. If you want to lead, you must be willing to walk alone. If you want to rise, it starts when you stop blaming anyone or anything for where you are and start holding yourself accountable for where you're going. Self-reliance is not about arrogance, it's about ownership. You own your mind, you own your time, you own your attitude, your actions, and your outcome. If you want discipline, create it. If you want respect, earn it. If you want to change your life, then change what you do with your hours, your thoughts, and your effort. The second you decide that you don't need a crowd behind you to move forward, you become dangerous. The second you realize you don't need to be understood, liked, or accepted to win, you become That's the shift. That's where strength is born. In silence, in solitude, in those quiet moments when you decide you're done begging and ready to build. No one understands your vision like you do. That's why it's yours. Stop explaining it. Stop defending it. Let them laugh. Let them talk. Let them doubt. While they do that, you get to work. While they post, you practice. While they flex, you prepare. And when they see the result, let them wonder how you did it alone. Let them ask where you found the strength. Let them realize too late that they wasted their energy watching instead of working. You will be tested. You will feel alone. You will question whether the grind is worth it. Good. That's the filter. That's the gate between the average and the elite. Most people can't handle silence, can't handle their own thoughts, can't handle the weight of personal responsibility. They look for distractions, for people to blame, for reasons why they couldn't. Instead of finding a way, they can. You're not like them. You don't fold. You forge. You take the fire and use it. You take the pain and convert it. You take the isolation and grow through it. You weren't built to be soft. You weren't designed to be carried. You are the engine. You are the fuel. You are the driver. So drive. Get serious about your habits. Get ruthless about your time. Get obsessed with progress. Don't wait for motivation. It won't come. Don't wait for ideal circumstances. They won't arrive. Just move and keep moving. Day in, day out, without applause, without recognition, without the need to be seen. Because real power doesn't beg for attention. Real power works in the dark and lets success shine the light. The strongest people don't look strong. They just keep showing up. They build while others break. They create while others complain. They fight when no one is watching, and they win when no one thought they could. They didn't wait for help. They didn't cry about what they didn't have. They started with nothing and decided to become something. That's the level you have to live on. No excuses, no dependence, no safety net, just raw focus and the decision to bet everything on yourself. You don't need more people. You need more belief. You don't need validation. You need execution. You don't need a team. You need a reason. And once you have that reason, once you truly understand why you can't stop, why you won't quit, then there is no obstacle that can stand in your way. You become immune to failure, because failure only exists for the person who gives up. And when you rely only on yourself, you never give up. You adjust, you get smarter, you get sharper, you get harder to break. So stop waiting, stop stalling, stop depending, cut the excuses, cut the noise, cut the comfort, replace it with hunger, replace it with grit, replace it with a quiet, cold decision to rise, regardless of who's around to see it. That's what greatness demands. That's what your future deserves. That's what you were built for. Most people want it until it gets hard, but the ones who rise are the ones who grind when it hurts. That's the difference. That's the truth. Persistence is not talent, it's not luck, it's not timing, it's a decision. A ruthless daily decision to keep moving forward no matter how many hits you take, how long it takes, or how tired you are. The people who build legacies are the ones who don't stop when it's boring, when it's quiet, or when it looks like it's not working. They show up anyway. They don't need motivation. They don't need a crowd. They don't need perfect conditions. They need one thing: progress. That's the standard. That's the level. Hard work is not a moment, it's a mindset. It's not what you do when you feel good, it's what you do when you don't. Discipline is when you show up with the same fire, whether the world's clapping for you or spitting in your face. That's when it counts, when no one sees, when no one cares, when it's cold, dark, and lonely. That's where winners are made. That's where champions are carved out of chaos. They build in silence and break through in front of the world. Everyone wants to win until they realize how much it costs, how many sacrifices it takes, how much energy it demands. You want to be relentless? Then stop looking for easy. Stop praying for shortcuts. Stop complaining that it's hard. It's supposed to be hard. That's why most people don't make it. That's why most people quit. That's why it's rare. You don't become elite by accident. You don't stumble into greatness. You don't reach the top by doing what's convenient. You earn it through consistency, through repetition, through painful levels of effort that would break the average man. But you're not average. You don't need breaks. You don't need pity. You need results. You need progress. You need to bleed for what you believe in. Because if you're not willing to go all in, then don't expect anything back. Don't expect success to show up for you when you only give half. Don't expect your dreams to come to life when you won't even put the hours in. Every great outcome is built on the back of persistence. Not once, not twice, but again and again and again. When it fails, when it falls apart, when it feels like nothing is working, that's when you press harder. That's when you double down. That's when you stop caring how you feel and start caring about what you're building. Your goals don't care if you're tired. Your future doesn't care if today was hard. It only responds to work. And the reason you're not there yet isn't because you're not good enough. It's because you haven't outworked the problem yet. You haven't shown the universe that you're willing to go farther than anyone else. You think it's supposed to feel fair? You think effort always pays off instantly? It doesn't. Not at first. Not when it matters. There are times when you will give everything and see nothing. That's the test. And most people fail it. They fold, they retreat, they slow down because results didn't show up on their schedule. But not you. You don't back off, you double up. You don't look for proof that it's working. You create the proof. With sweat, with pain, with persistence so ruthless that even when you fall, you land forward. Hard work is not an event, it's a way of life. If you're serious, you don't try. You train. You don't dabble. You commit. You don't hope. You execute. You set the bar higher every day. You attack the hours that others waste. You don't fear failure. You expect it and keep pushing. You don't stop when it's hard. You hit another gear. That's what separates you. Not talent, not background, just raw, violent consistency. You keep showing up when it's boring. You keep showing up when it's painful. You keep showing up when it looks like it's not working. Because you know one truth that weak people never understand. The work always works, just not always on your timeline. So keep going, keep building, keep grinding when it would be easier to quit. Persistence rewrites the rules. It bends reality. It breaks barriers. It forces doors open that stayed shut for everyone else. But only if you refuse to back down. Only if you refuse to slow up. Only if you keep rising, even when nothing around you tells you it's working. That's how champions think. That's how winners breathe. They don't take days off. They don't take shortcuts. They don't pray for lighter loads. They train for stronger backs. Every second you waste hoping for easier, you could be building better. Every minute you spend avoiding the hard parts is a minute you're falling behind. So own the work. Own the suffering. Own the pressure, and keep moving forward even when your legs shake and your vision blurs. Because that's the difference between people who talk and people who finish. That's the line between average and unstoppable. You cross that line with action, with effort, with work that no one sees but everyone feels when you arrive. The loudest voices in your life are usually the ones who've done the least. Let that sink in. The critics, the doubters, the ones telling you to slow down or be realistic, they've never built anything. They've never carried the weight. They've never stared down the darkness and chosen to keep moving. They haven't done what you're trying to do, and they never will. That's why you can't listen. That's why you have to shut it out, because if you let the noise in, it'll infect your focus, kill your ambition, and slowly convince you to settle for less than what you were born to be. You don't have time to entertain opinions that don't pay your bills. You don't have energy to waste explaining your vision to people who don't have the courage to build their own. The world is filled with static. Everyone's talking. Everyone's posting. Everyone has something to say, but almost none of it matters. You want to win, then get quiet. Tune it out. Get so locked in on your mission that you don't even notice the noise. The moment you stop caring what the world thinks is the moment the world starts paying attention. You don't need to be liked, you need to be legendary. People will criticize what they don't understand. They'll mock what threatens them. They'll try to pull you back because your rise makes them feel exposed. You becoming more forces them to confront the fact that they're still the same. So they throw words, they throw doubt, they throw shade. But words can't stop you unless you let them in. The enemy isn't the noise, it's your reaction to it. Train yourself to walk past the barking without breaking stride. No one building anything worthwhile is sitting around tearing down someone else. Let the critics talk. You're too busy working. Distractions are everywhere. Cheap entertainment, fake urgency, people who want your attention but don't deserve your time, all of it is noise. And it's not just stealing your focus, it's stealing your future. Every time you check what they think, you lose sight of what you think. Every time you care more about looking successful than being successful, you give the noise power. But you weren't built for that. You weren't made to fit in. You were made to lock in. You were made to break rules, break limits, and break through. You don't need updates. You need silence. You need space. You need wartime tunnel vision, where the only thing that exists is the goal. Silence is a weapon. Solitude is a weapon. Clarity is a weapon. And the reason most people never win is because they're too distracted to even know what winning means to them. They're chasing applause, they're chasing status, they're chasing relevance. But relevance doesn't pay off. Results do. Impact does. Legacy does. And that doesn't come from scrolling, from pleasing, from adjusting your mission every time someone has a different opinion. It comes from choosing your direction and never looking sideways again. If someone hasn't done what you're trying to do, their opinion holds no weight. You wouldn't take swimming lessons from someone who's drowning, so why take advice from someone who quit on their dreams? You don't need validation from people who never had the guts to get in the arena. Their noise is weakness dressed as wisdom. And you let them doubt you. Let them misunderstand you. Let them talk. You are not here to be understood. You are here to win. You are here to evolve. You are here to outgrow, outwork, and outlast every limitation they try to put on you. The second you start moving with confidence instead of consensus, your life will change. The second you decide to value peace over popularity, you will find power. Not everyone will clap for you. Not everyone will support you. That's part of the process. You don't need a choir. You need commitment. You don't need cheerleaders, you need conviction. Keep your eyes on the vision. Keep your ears closed to the nonsense. You're not in this to be seen, you're in this to conquer. You're not in this to entertain followers, you're in this to lead, to build, to dominate. Focus is a competitive advantage in a world addicted to distraction. Everyone's looking everywhere but where it counts. Everyone's chasing noise while the few, the obsessed, the focused, are stacking wins in silence. That's where you want to live. That's where the results are. Don't argue, don't explain, don't debate. Just work, just improve, just execute. Make your progress so loud that their opinions disappear. Make your discipline so consistent that their doubt can't keep up. Make your rise so undeniable that the same people who ignored you now ask how you did it. You don't owe them a response. You don't owe them access. You don't owe them anything but silence. That's the language of the focused. That's the posture of someone who knows where they're going and isn't looking for directions from people stuck in place. Let them talk. You keep building. Let them doubt. You keep grinding. Let them laugh. You keep rising. Because noise can't stop someone who's already decided they're going to win no matter what. Your thoughts are the factory of your future, and if you don't control them, they'll control you. That's where it starts. Not with action, not with strategy, not even with work ethic, with thought. Every outcome in your life was first born in your mind. Every failure, every victory, every level you've hit or missed began with a belief. Weak thoughts produce weak results. Scattered thinking leads to scattered outcomes. So if you want power, you start by disciplining your mind like a weapon. because your thoughts left undisciplined will talk you out of greatness before you even begin. You can't afford doubt. You can't afford fear. You can't afford distraction. You have no room for the mental clutter that most people let run wild in their heads. If you want to win, then you lock your mind like a vault. You choose your thoughts the same way a warrior chooses his weapon, deliberately, precisely, ruthlessly. No more emotional chaos, no more second guessing, no more letting your brain drift into fantasy, fear, or failure. You hold the line. You own the narrative, because if you don't lead your mind, it will follow anything loud enough, toxic enough, or tempting enough to destroy your focus. The mind, undisciplined, is lazy. It takes the easy route. It looks for excuses, distractions, comfort, but when you train it, when you force it to focus, to believe, to stay locked in on the mission, it becomes your greatest weapon. You don't get to think like everyone else and expect to live differently. You don't get to entertain weakness in your mind and expect strength in your actions. Every time you allow negativity, doubt, or fear to sit in your mind rent-free, you're giving away territory. You're giving up leverage. You're handing the enemy your sword. This is war, internal war, mental war. And if you don't show up ready to battle your own limitations daily, you lose before you even face the world. That voice in your head that says, slow down, you're not good enough, you'll never make it, that's not you. That's programming. That's noise you picked up from people who gave up. You rewire it. You override it. You replace it with truth, with belief, with the language of winners. And that language is built, not found. Built by discipline, built by effort, built by flooding your mind with purpose, repetition, and ruthless clarity of where you're going. Most people live in reaction mode. Whatever the world throws at them, they absorb it. News, opinions, judgment, fear, they let it all in, and then wonder why they feel anxious, lost, or stuck. Not you. You move with intention. You think on purpose. You don't absorb. You choose. You filter every input. You decide what lives in your head, what deserves your attention, and what gets blocked at the door. That's the standard. That's the discipline, because the undisciplined mind is easy to break. But the trained mind becomes unstoppable, resilient, focused, lethal. Every breakthrough begins with the decision to think higher. Every shift in your life starts when you stop allowing emotional chaos to sabotage your focus. Control your mind and you control your emotions. Control your emotions and you control your behavior. Control your behavior and you control your results. It all starts with the way you think when no one's watching. It starts in the silence, in the pressure, in the doubt. That's where you either fold or forge. That's where your future is won or lost, not in the big moments, but in the small decisions of what you let dominate your mental space. And here's the truth. You will never rise higher than the level of your thoughts. So train them, discipline them, put them through reps like you would your body. Daily, consistently, no skipping, no slacking. Flood your mind with truth, with strength, with belief systems that support the level you're building toward. That's how you build unshakable clarity. That's how you create mental armor. That's how you stop reacting and start commanding. It's not about positive thinking. It's about powerful thinking, accurate thinking, focused thinking, strategic thinking, thought that leads to action and action that creates results. Nothing changes until your mind changes. No amount of grinding, hustling, or moving will create a different life if the thoughts behind that movement are broken. You've got to align it. You've got to train it. You've got to discipline yourself to think like a builder, a winner, a leader. That means cutting out thoughts of limitation, fear, laziness, and self-pity the second they show up. Not entertaining them, not dancing with them, crushing them, replacing them, choosing strength every single time. Because weakness always starts in the mind, and so does power. You don't need to be smarter, you need to be sharper. You don't need more motivation, you need mental discipline. You don't need a new plan, you need to stop letting your thoughts pull you off the one you already committed to. Master your mind and you master your mission. That's how you stay locked in. That's how you stay dangerous. That's how you become untouchable. Not because life gets easier, but because your mind gets stronger. Not because the obstacles vanish, but because your thoughts refuse to be shaken. And when your thoughts are built like steel, everything around you bends. Faith without movement is fiction. If you believe, then you move. If you're convinced, then you act. It's that simple. You don't wait for the perfect time. You don't wait for proof. You don't wait for the path to light up. You take the first step, and then you take another, and then another, no matter how dark it is. Because that's what faith looks like in real life. Not wishing, not hoping, not sitting around talking about potential, but stepping forward when there's no guarantee except the one you've decided to create through sheer force of effort. You say you believe in your vision, then show it. Back it up with sweat. Prove it with execution. Faith isn't loud. It's disciplined. It doesn't scream. It shows up. It doesn't beg. It builds. Most people say they believe, but their actions prove otherwise. They talk about what they want, but they move like they're unsure. They say they're all in, but keep holding on to their backup plan. That's not faith. That's fear with a costume on. Faith is when you shut the door to retreat and light the fire that says, I'll make this work, or I'll die trying. You can't build anything with just belief. Belief is the fuel, but action is the engine. You don't get results by imagining them. You don't hit goals by dreaming about them. You hit goals by aligning your behavior with your vision. Ruthlessly, relentlessly, consistently. That means doing the work when it's hard. That means showing up when no one claps. That means staying focused when it looks like nothing's happening. That's the space where faith separates from fantasy. That's the space where winners are made. Faith without action is noise. It's empty. It's cheap. Anyone can say they believe, but only the disciplined, only the obsessed, only the ones willing to bleed for their vision will actually bring it to life. You don't get to sit and wait for your time. You create your time by deciding this is it, and then acting like it. And if you don't have the courage to back up your faith with real, unshakable action, then what you have isn't belief, it's just a wish. And wishes don't win. Work wins, movement wins, ruthless commitment wins. If you're serious, you don't wait for motivation, you don't wait for the right energy, you don't wait for conditions to be perfect. You decide, and then you act like it's already yours. That's the difference. That's how people rise from nothing. They see the future so clearly that their current reality has no power over them. They don't care what it looks like. They care what it's going to look like. And they act with that level of certainty. They speak it, walk it, live it before anyone else sees it. That's the kind of faith that moves mountains. That's the kind of faith that builds empires. But here's the truth. It's going to feel like it's not working. It's going to feel slow. It's going to feel lonely. That's part of it. That's the pressure that either breaks you or shapes you. You will question everything. You will face silence. You will fight self-doubt. But if your actions are rooted in belief, you will keep showing up. You will keep building. You will keep pushing through resistance that would crush the average person. That's the power of faith when it's backed by grind. You're not just hoping, you're proving. You're earning. You're building the outcome with every move you make. People will try to talk you out of your path. They'll question your pace. They'll tell you it's not realistic. But faith backed by action doesn't need permission. It doesn't need applause. It doesn't wait to be understood. It just works quietly, consistently. It doesn't get distracted by noise, setbacks, or small minds. It keeps going because it knows where it's headed. It trusts the process. It respects the work. It holds the vision even when everything else is shaking. That's what separates leaders from followers, builders from talkers, the uncommon from the ordinary. Every time you take action, you're sending a message, not to the world, but to yourself. You're proving that you're not just interested in your vision, you're committed. You're proving that your belief is real. You're building proof brick by brick, rep by rep, day by day, and that proof compounds, that proof stacks, that proof turns faith into results. And once that happens, the same people who ignored you will ask how you did it. But the answer is simple. You moved before you had it. You built before you saw it. And you acted like it was already yours until it was. There is no magic. There is no secret. There is only belief followed by behavior. And behavior is what the world responds to. You can scream about your goals all you want, but if your habits don't match your ambition, the world isn't going to move. The universe doesn't respond to noise. It responds to energy, to consistency, to action that matches the level of what you're asking for. And if you want something massive, then your actions better match that scale. So don't talk about faith, live it. Move with it, build with it. Let your work scream your belief so loud that your results become undeniable. Let every day be a statement. Let every rep, every hour, every sacrifice say one thing: I believe, and I'm proving it. Because in the end, talk fades, noise fades, but results remain. And results only show up for the ones who had enough faith to keep moving when nothing else made sense. The world owes you nothing. No one is coming to save you. No one is coming to hand you your dream. You get what you earn. You get what you build. And the only way to build something that lasts is to turn inward. Get focused and outwork every excuse, every distraction, every weakness trying to pull you off track. You don't need applause. You don't need comfort. You don't need permission. You need hunger. You need fire. You need the kind of relentless mindset that wakes up every single day with one mission: improve, execute, dominate. This isn't about talent. This isn't about luck. This is about discipline, faith, vision, and execution. This is about showing up when no one else will, believing when no one else does, grinding when everyone else is comfortable. You want a life most people don't have? Then you better be willing to do what most people won't. Cut the noise, kill the excuses, focus on yourself. Work hard, lock in, stay dangerous, stay obsessed. Because when it's all said and done, the only thing that separates the average from the unstoppable is this: